Anche che test, test, test,
Mengumumkan ketibaan yang berbahagia Datuk Dr. Zaini bin Hussein, Pengarah Kesihatan Negeri Kelantan, diiringi oleh Dibin Kehormat. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan dipersilakan mengambil tempat. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yang berbahagia Datuk Dr. Zaini bin Hussein, Pengarah Kesihatan Negeri Kelantan, Divisi Jumputan, Ketua-Ketua Jabatan dan hadirin hadirat yang dirahmati Allah sekalian. Alhamdulillah, pada pagi yang indah ini kita masih diberikan peluang untuk sama-sama mengikuti sesi pembelajaran berterusan CME pada kali ini. Saya Azrin Azri Azmi daripada Jabatan Farmasi akan menjadi pengacara anda pada hari ini. Hadirin dan hadirat yang dirahmati Allah sekalian, bersempena dengan sambutan Hari Jantung Sedunia peringkat Hospital Raja Perempuan Zainab II, sesi CME pada hari ini akan mengupas topik yang bertajuk The Dance of the Broken Heart. Tanpa melengahkan masa, dengan ini saya serahkan pentas kepada Dr. Muhammad Faiz Faizal bin Fauzi, Consultant Cardiologist and Electrophysiologist Hospital Raja Perempuan Zainab II, untuk meneruskan acara. Dipersilakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yang berbahagia Datuk Dr. Zaini bin Hussein, Pengarah Kesihatan Negeri Kelantan, Yang Berusaha Dr. Nur Azman bin Alias, Timbalan Pengarah Kesihatan Negeri Kelantan, Yang Berusaha Dr. Abdul Haris bin Muhammad, Pengarah Hospital Raja Perempuan Zainab II, Yang Berusaha Dr. Nik Muhammad Faizal bin Zainal Abidin, Timbalan Pengarah Perubatan 1, Yang Berusaha Mr. Gerard Francis Lopez, Ketua Jabatan Kardiotorasik dan juga merangkap pengarah program sambutan Hari Jantung peringkat HRPZ. Datuk Dr. Mansur, Senior Consultant Cardiologist HRPZ, Ketua-Ketua Jabatan Dr. Marzuki, Ketua Jabatan Perubatan, my boss Dr. Muhammad Sapawi Muhammad, Senior Consultant Cardiologist merangkap kedua unit Kardiologi HRPZ. So I would like to thank Organizing Committee for inviting me to give CME for this session. So my topic today is about the dance of the broken heart. So I would like to share with you one of the case and what are overall that we do in our cardiology. So Robert Pizen said, I would rather have eyes that cannot see, ear that cannot hear, lips that cannot speak, and then a heart that cannot love. Tears come from the heart and not from the brain. I will share with you one case of our case. 35-year-old man presented with progressively worse shortness of breath with chest discomfort. He has strong family history of heart disease. Examination showed elevated jugular venous pressure, presence of gallop rhythm, but no murmurs. Lungs examination equal breath sound with crackles both lower zone. And he has this bilateral pitting edema up to mid-shin. This is the ECG, looks like. So what we can see in this ECG, very obvious left bundle branch block. Why it is left bundle branch block? Because the QRS is blocked. All right, the QRS is blocked and it is sinus. And after admission to our ward, this is what happened. So again, this is very obvious case of ECG of broad complex tachycardia. Okay, broad complex QRS tachycardia, QRS more than 120 milliseconds. So this ECG showed ventricular tachycardia. All right, we can see very obvious AV dissociation in this ECG. We did echo for this patient. So echo showed very poor left ventricular ejection fraction, which is 29%. Normal ejection fraction more than 50, up to 70. More than 70 also abnormal because of this supernormal function. With dilated all chambers, global hypokinesia. There is thin area over the apical area and presence of moderate MR and TR. So we proceed with angiogram based on the echo findings, ECGs. So ischemic is one of the important differential diagnosis why this patient goes into heart failure. And this angiogram showed very clear-cut normal coronary angiogram. Okay, so this is left system. On the left side, left system, left circumflex artery, left atrial, this anterior descending artery, very good, smooth. And it is on the right coronary artery. So it is normal coronary angiogram. So based on that, we can conclude that this patient has heart failure due to non-ischemic. So to support our diagnosis, we proceed with cardiac MRI, and it's confirmed, it is heart failure due to non-ischemic. We can see from this MRI, what we can appreciate here, the chambers all dilated. All 4 chambers of heart are all dilated, and there is no evidence of no enhancement, no daily enhancement over the myocardium. So it shows support our diagnosis of non-ischemic dilated cardiomyopathy. So what we do, how we manage this type of patient? So important thing, number one, all heart failure patient or whatever origin, you need to give optimized heart failure treatment. Nowadays, based on studies, we have 4 pillars. So it means that we need to start all these four medication if there is no contraindication. Number 1 is inhibitor or ARB or ARNI, a new class of medication, Entresto. Number 2, beta blocker. We need to start beta blocker, SGLT2 inhibitors, empagliflozin or dapagliflozin, and MRA, spironolactone. This is 4 pillars for heart failure. So for MOs, for specialists that see heart failure patient with poor LV function patient in your clinic, make sure if there is no contraindication, make sure you start all this medication. We know that some elements of financial issue, but we need to try our best to give this 4 medication to the patient. What are the issues in this patient? All right, what are the issues? So as we know, this patient have other things, very poor, very bad LV function. Sudden cardiac death has left no age untouched, sparing neither saint or sinner. It has burdened man with a sense of insecurity and fragility. A death from a long illness is very different from a sudden death. It gives you time to say goodbye and time to adjust to the idea that the beloved will not be with you anymore. So sudden death is an issue in this patient. So this patient at very high risk of sudden death because of poor LV function. So what we do, we need something to prevent. We try our best. We try our best to prevent death. And death cannot be prevented. Sampai umur, sampai ajal, sampai waktu, pergilah kita kan. But we try to reduce the risk. Ikhtiar, kita kata kan, ikhtiar. So CRTD is the best for this patient. Why CRTD? So this is CRTD. We got implantation. We have like a battery, like a pacemaker, put under the left pectoral, left clavicular, and we give, there is a 3-wire. You can appreciate that on the left side. There's 3-wire, 1 wire on the RV. This one is very important. This is ICD plate. This what happens if you have recurrent VT, you have VF because of poor LV function. This ICD will fire. We give a shock, like your defibrillator, outside defibrillator. So this ICD will shock to terminate the arrhythmias. And what's special about this CRT? It had a function of biventricular pacing. It is very important in heart failure patient, especially in this patient with a broad left bundle branch block ECG. It makes the heart dysynchrony. Dysynchrony means that left and right ventricle is not pumping at the same time. So output is not good. So how to make it improve? So you put on biventricular pacing, and at the same time with the CRTD, it can prevent sudden death. Next, VT ablation, which is very important in this patient, because if you don't ablate the VT come again. Despite you put on ICD, CRTD, it will fire, keep on firing. Sepatutnya battery within 6 to 7 years. It can last for 6-7 years. If you have firing because of recurrent VT, the battery can be depleted within months. So ablation is very important to reduce the burden of VT, save battery life, and at the same time to give effective biventricular pacing.
What is the meaning of ablation?
Sorry?
What is the meaning of radiofrequency?
Radiofrequency ablation means that we ablate the focal. Usually in this type of patient, you have the circuit in the left ventricle, so we ablate the circuit, so it can prevent the VT to recur. So now, so I would like to remind all of us that heart, you have a different disease. The commonest, as we know, that heart attack is the issue with the plumbing, blocking. Another part that we cannot forget is electrical problem. All right. So as this patient previous case to show extensive involvement, from electrical to the coronary. So heart rhythm. Now my focus of topic 3 is about heart rhythm. So the heart rhythm can be very fast, like a VT, ventricular fibrillation, atrial fibrillation, SVTs, or slow heart rate. All right. So when I came back in 2020, so we start this new service back in 2020 on the electrophysiology study and radiofrequency ablation, and number 2, advanced cardiac implantable device. So thank you to state government to give this 500K to improve our system, electrophysiology system, which is very important. So now we have our own system So before this, we need to borrow from company. Now we have our own system. So it's benefit a lot of patient. Okay, patient tak payah pergi KL kan? So it's very important. So now this is in our cardiac labs. Okay, this is what we do. So we can show you this is the fluoroscopy there, and the other side on the right side, you can see, this is catheters from the femoral, and you can see this is the system. And we look into the heart, inside the heart. Just now ECG showed this is outside the heart. So now we put a catheter, we study the electrical activity lagi dekat, inside the heart. All right. Again, this is the system, that 500 system plus computer back here, and this is the fluoroscopy. You can see the catheters here, and this is from the other side. This is what we look in the heart. This is ECG, but this is ECG inside the heart. So this is what happened. This is another patient, in fact. This is another patient. This is quite a recent patient. This is different patient, second patient. This is patient with WPW. Okay, another entity that have been forgotten, have been missed in our diagnosis from KK up to even in our specialist hospital. So I've received, luckily, many patients not being missed for a short period of time, but when we deferred, come here for another reason. For example, for accident, for operation. So asymptomatic patient. So we detect this. So we proceed with the study. And this is what study, the throughput study. So this is what happened here. This is what we can see. This is atrial fibrillation, which is very common, and it is very dangerous in WPW patient. It can cause death. Okay, so WPW, Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome, you have a chance of the risk of 0.5% of sudden death. It's very important in young adult, in young patient, come to you with symptoms of palpitation and syncope. You need to look hard in the ECG walaupun muda patient budak-budak. You need to check, diagnose this, and treat it with ablation. This is another system. In fact, this is we need to loan from company, in fact, because this is special. This is not our system. What we can see here, this is 3D mapping system, which is very important. Number one, the new technology, very important to reduce the risk of radiation, not just to patient, even to the operator. To prevent risk of radiation, especially with all this electrophysiology study. It takes some time, at least 1 hour, 2 hours, up to 3 hours. Okay, so based on this, this is another view. You can construct. Okay, this 3D mapping, you can construct the cardiac based on electrical activity, just based on electrical activity. So this is almost zero fluoroscopy. You put on catheter, take a bit by bit electrical activity. Based on that number, based on that electrical activity, we construct the heart. And it's very important in this patient. For example, this is WPW patient. We can see the pathway here. The pathway is very near to the AV node, which is his. So we can map from this 3D mapping, we can map where is the his bundle, where is the AV node, which is very important. If you ablate this AV node, what happens is patient need lifelong pacemaker. So this 3D mapping, very important. There's a way, this is things to target in the future. For this patient, we check what is the signal. We find where is the best signal, and we ablate. This is ECG. Well, I can show you. This is what we call is WPW ECG. All right. What are the features of WPW ECG? There is P wave, very short PR interval. PR interval here very short. Why it is short PR interval? Because you can see here there is presence of delta wave. This is delta wave. So the PR interval becomes short. So this is W. Please do not miss this ECG in your patient. Sometimes patient is asymptomatic. All right. So what happened after we ablate? There is no more delta wave. All right. There is no more delta wave. So it comes sinus rhythm without delta wave. Your heart beats 72 times a minute. Every time it beats, it does so with the permission of its creator. Semua kena cakap Alhamdulillah. Setakat mana kita jantung masih berdenyut. Alhamdulillah. So heart is like a house, like a plumbing system, electrical system. Kalau jantung berlubang, it's a structural system. Valve issues is like a door. So heart is a system. It's like a house. So this is what we do. Most of the patient, I think 90%, 80% of our burden is coronary angiogram and angioplasty. We do also peripheral intervention, IVC filter, pacemaker, internal cardiac defib, EP study, and advanced cardiac implantable device. This is the procedure, cardiac implant procedure from 2015 to 2020. You can see here the incremental, every year it's increased. It's around 60 to 70 cardiac implanted here. So the number, even here, September is already 56. And we have a number, total, as for now, around 15 patients for CRT. This is cardiac implant procedures. Okay, this battery, and this is our usual pacemaker. So what is the difference between CRT and pacemaker? Our pacemaker, usual pacemaker, this is two wire. One wire in the right atrium, another wire in the right ventricle, and it is connected to the battery. The battery just put below the skin, below the skin. So next is what I want to show you. This is another technology. Another technology, we call it as leadless pacemaker. This one we put through femoral vein. We put like a capsule through a femoral vein. Put like a capsule bullet into the heart. A pacemaker which without leads. So what is important now? What is important in this type of patient? You see here, there is no lead. Because the usual conventional pacemaker, the problem with this conventional pacemaker is the risk of infection and the risk of hematoma over the pocket. So if we can eliminate this lead issues, lead problem, we can eliminate the need of the lead, the need of the generator pacemaker. So the risk of infection definitely become very low. But this is very expensive. So it will be very, very selective. This is 6 times the normal pacemaker. But we did here for a selective patient. Very high risk patient with complication of infective endocarditis after pacemaker. So this is type of patient that you need to put on leadless pacemaker. So we have 15 to 20 case referral. Okay, this is refusal logistic issue if we refer to outside long waiting list. Before this, we refer to Serdang and IGN, very high cost. So this is what we do. Since we get the system, it's around the number keep on increasing. Now September 29. So in the future, we hope that we can get this 3D mapping on our own. I know it's expensive, another 1.3, 1.5 million. For now, use loan from company. So issue is loan timing with the company. Because we have limited ICL time. We do case of EP studies, ablation, implant. Another patient come with MIs. We cannot proceed. So we need to delay. So we really hope that this is a number of our main core business, coronary angiogram, coronary angioplasty. This is up to 2020, but I think 2021 is getting higher. So around 1,000, 1,500 procedures. So Dr. Sapawi, I think, is working hard now for our second invasive cardiac lab. We hope that we get it in the near future, which is very important. And then this slide actually, my slide during 2020. When I was first come back here, present this during CME also. So hopefully, maybe in 2 years' time, there is another tick there, up here. There is another tick here. So we have our own EP system. We have Mr. Gerard now as our in-house cardiac surgeon. Thank you very much to the admin and to him to give a good support to us. And number 4, we hope that we can expand further cardiology services. We can focus more on cardio imaging, peripheral intervention, structural heart disease, grown-up congenital heart disease. So cardiac arrest versus cardiac attack, make sure, remember this. So my last slide, take-home message. Number 1, manage patient as a whole. Try to be specific. Heart disease is a layman term. Number 3, undiagnosed Wolff Parkinson-White syndrome is real. Please do not miss this type of patients because this patient usually biasanya patient muda. So kesian if you miss this type of patient. Number 4, do not forget rhythm issue when dealing with cardiac patient. Treatment is very expensive, but life is priceless, especially we are the receiving end of it. Okay. Thank you very much for your attention.
Majlis merakamkan ucapan terima kasih kepada Dr. Muhammad Aizul untuk atas pemaparan yang telah sampaikan tadi. Mungkin dengan sedikit masa yang berada ini, kita bukakan sedikit masa untuk sesi soal jawab sekiranya ada daripada para presiden sekalian.
Not really clear. Guna mic.
Only a simple question. I'm the time from pediatric angle. So my question is on in let's say you mentioned about pacemaker. So in a patient, sometimes we need to do scaling for actually to see that they have to remove the factors using ultraviolet scaler. I heard that recently they have introduced the pacemaker that not interfere with the use of the ultraviolet scaler. Is that true or how?
Yeah, it depends on the company actually. We have 4 companies that for company. It depends on the type of pacemaker. The new one, the new generation is yes, but some of the patient is old generation, not so old, but not so new also. So this all can affect some of the interference. You get some interference, especially if you use the cautery near to the battery. It is fast to be okay. Near, so our advice is usually if you need to use any cautery, surgical intervention, operation near here. So if number 1, the important principle is number 1 on a patient pacemaker, I think you should refer to us. That's number 1 because we need to check first what is the battery status. That's number 1. Number 2. We need to check whether this patient dependent or not on pacemaker. Okay. Number 3, what type of operation? So you refer to us and then we check this. Is there any interference? Okay. There's a reason you need to refer to us. There's a reason all patient, especially operation near here, you need to refer to us. Okay. We need to check that, what compatible or not. Okay,
congratulations on your presentation and your success and your solution. Can you go back to the take-home message? Here, number 4. do not forget rhythm issue. You mentioned in your presentation, it's not uncommon for doctors to miss natural fibrillation, which is can be fatal. So the message to the audience then, to the junior and person, cardiac rhythm is very important to know. And for me, atrial fibrillation is very easy to see when you see the ECG. So any patient with disturbed cardiac rhythm, we should investigate that. It's not by chance. And like if you diagnose by chance, and cardiology diagnose by chance, then you be fail. And the housemanship training is for me, it's very easy to diagnose atrial fibrillation. Any problem with cardiac rhythm. So for me, this is a very important issue. My second question is about the treatment is very expensive. The pacemaker, berapa harga dia dan patient kena bayar?
Okay, saya jawab second question first. Pacemaker is not under hospital budget. It is under, if let's say patient working, so it's under JPA, and then if patient can buy on their own, kita memang minta kita orang yang berkemampuan, memang kita encourage them to pay. If they cannot pay, so we refer to tabung bantuan sakit in Putrajaya. So the price for single chamber pacemaker 6,500. For dual chamber pacemaker 12,000. For CRT biventricular pacing with pacing punya mode it 32K. CRTD patient tadi 63K. Micra, the leadless pacemaker 38K. So, but usually our patient, as I showed to you just now, the patient for 80% we require only the conventional pacemaker, around 6,000, 12,000 per device. And comment number one is very good, Dato'. Thank you very much. Very good in terms of atrial fibrillation. I didn't touch that one just now. It's very important because atrial fibrillation, in fact, is the most arrhythmias that we see in our patient. How to diagnose atrial fibrillation? Very easy. Tak perlu ECG. ECG you need to confirm. Very easy. Pegang patient. Check the pulse. Very easy. Check the pulse. Irregular. Confirm it with ECG. So tak sampai seminit. Pegang tangan patient. Tak sampai seminit. Terus dapat dan kita diagnose. You can detect the irregular beats. Do ECG. Confirm it. And start the treatment.
The third question. What happened to the patient?
The first patient, patient is doing well now. Still under follow up, under our follow up, cardiac heart failure follow up. It's doing very well because of the medication. We can optimize all the medication and we can put the CRT. In fact, after the CRT, the ECG, I didn't show the ECG. The ECG become from broad QRS, it become narrow QRS.
Assalamualaikum and good morning. Just a comment. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the team, cardiology team in Charlie for so far till now with a lot of limitations that the target hospital and its team with a strong team. Ultimately, the cardiology can have performed a lot of procedures and save the patient's life, save the cost by not recommendation to get again. Cuma I just like mungkin Datuk dari kat sini dengan pengarahan pada just I think we have discussed quite a lot on the future development of cardiology because it's life-saving units as a unit itself, life-saving, treating life-threatening patients. So we actually need to really work on how to progress further with a lot of limitation. Kita punya facility pun only one ICL with I think far behind Sudan, Malaysia, and one far behind that. With a lot of patients, numbers of patients are increasing. So we really need to look into this seriously. And of course, we have the recommend that we discuss options and they are available. But many options are really mungkin sama ada tak visible ataupun banyak issues. So probably this is one area yang mungkin kita kena beri perhatian for the benefit of Kelantan people. I think we still behind comparing to other centers. We have a team, strong team, and we have the courage that things are going forward, progress further, but limitation is space and limitation is the equipment. So mungkin dengan sejarah kita sendiri tradisi very good support. We do have this. We hope to have a good, better plan. Second ICL, if possible, at a cardiothoracic center or something like that. That will actually benefit millions of people in that and people in Saudi. I think that should be discussed further in the state. Thank you.
Baik, terima kasih diucapkan kepada Dr. Fadli serta saya soalan tadi. Dan seterusnya majlis ini terhormat ingin menjemput dan mempersihkan yang berusaha Dr. Abdul Haris bin Muhammad, pengarah Hospital Wajib Perempuan Semak 2 untuk mengiringi yang berbahagia Dr. Zainal bin Husin untuk menyampaikan sijil penghargaan kepada Dr. Muhammad Faris Faizul. Dipersilakan. Majlis Perangkat ucapan terima kasih kepada yang berbahagia Dr. Zainal bin Muhammad yang sudah sebentar tadi dan terima kasih sekali lagi diucapkan kepada Dr. Faris. Hadirin dan hadirat yang dirahmati Allah sekalian, berakhirlah sudah sesi kita pada kali ini dan CME pada minggu hadapan akan disampaikan oleh Jabatan Sekretari dengan tajuknya Make Mental Health and Wellbeing for All a Global Priority yang akan disampaikan oleh Dr. Izia Syazwani binti Khairuddin. Baiklah, warga Dewan yang budiman dan sesi kita pada ini akan diteruskan dengan majlis peresmian sambutan Hari Raya sedunia Dekan Hospital Wajib Perempuan Semak 2. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yang berbahagia Dr. Zainal bin Husin, pengarah Kesehatan Negeri Kelantan, yang berusaha Dr. Azman bin Alias, Timbalan Pengarah Kesehatan Negeri Kelantan Perluanan, yang berusaha Dr. Abdul Haris bin Muhammad, pengarah Hospital Wajib Perempuan Semak 2, yang berusaha Mr. Gerard Francis Lopez, Ketua Jabatan Kardiothoracic, Rangka Pengarah Program Sambutan Hari Jantung Sedunia dekat Hospital Wajib Perempuan Semak 2, yang berbahagia Datuk Dr. Haji Mansur Yahya, pakar perundingan kardiologi, yang berusaha Timbalan Pengarah Hospital Wajib Perempuan Semak 2, Ketua Jabatan Barisan Ahli Jawatan Kuasa dan Kehidupan Kesihatan. Seterusnya, hadirin hadirat yang dirahmati sekalian. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sihat buat Malaysia. Alhamdulillah, seiring kita mengangkat tangan, mensahihkan rasa kesyukuran kepada Rabbul Izzah, Tuhan Yang Maha Esa, kerana dengan izinnya jua dapat kita dipertemukan dan berkumpul pada hari ini dalam satu majlis yang bermakna bersama dengan majlis peresmian sambutan Hari Jantung Sedunia peringkat Hospital Wajib Perempuan Semak 2. Majlis mengadu-adukan kehadiran yang berbahagia Datuk Dr. Zainal bin Husin, pengarah Kesehatan Negeri Kelantan, ke majlis kita pada pagi yang berbahagia ini. Majlis juga ingin mengucapkan selamat datang kepada hadirin yang sudi hadir bagi sama-sama memuliakan majlis sambutan Hari Jantung Sedunia pada hari ini. Bertemakan Use Heart for Every Heart, majlis yang julungkan diadakan hospital ini diharap dapat memberikan impak yang positif kepada masyarakat. Hadirin yang budiman, Sebagai memberkati majlis kita pada pagi ini, marilah sama-sama kita menangis tangan, mengaminkan bacaan doa yang akan dipimpin oleh Yang Besar Ustaz Muhammad Zulkifli bin Ma'rusin dengan segala hormatnya dipersilakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahillazi bi ni'matihi tatimmus shalihat. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulina al-amin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Ya Allah, Engkaulah penguasa langit dan bumi serta perbendaharaan antara kedua-duanya. Ya Allah, kami merafakkan kesyukuran di atas keizinan-Mu untuk kami berada dalam majlis perasmian sambutan Hari Jantung Sedunia 2022 peringkat Hospital Raja Perempuan 2 ini. Kami juga bersyukur kerana Engkau mengizinkan kami menghadirkan diri